What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
What kind of ignorant shit is that?
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
You idiot, you fool!
Hey, dummy!
This is the Ignorance is Blessed podcast.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Hey idiots, welcome back to Ignorance is Blessed, the podcast that attempts to overcome ignorance, mostly by asking ignorant questions. With me, Jessica Michelle Singleton, JMS. I'm your comedian host. What am I saying? Look, I'm an idiot. It's why we're here. I ask the dumb questions for all of us, and we learn together, and sometimes we laugh at how truly dumb the questions are. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Please subscribe, rate, review it on iTunes. It helps other people find us, and then we can all learn the answers to our stupid, ignorant questions. And thank you very much for being here. Thanks for giving me a shot if you're new. And thank you for continuing to listen to my ignorance if you've been with me all along. Shout out to my best idiots forever, Jean and Kathy, and my new patron this month, Paige. Yeah, you guys want to join Patreon? My patrons? Be my patrons? Be a patronus. Patreon.com/ignorance is blessed. God, I want to go back to the Harry Potter theme park. We do bonus episodes, and I send postcards to certain levels, and I do Google Hangs, and if we hit that first goal, guaranteed weekly episodes and some more content coming your way. Thank you to all the patrons. Thanks to everyone for listening, but thank you to the patrons for helping me cover the cost of this little one-woman show I've got going in the form of a podcast. Speaking of one-woman shows, I'm doing mine again in Los Angeles, July 9th, Tuesday, at the Comedy Central stage at the Hudson on Santa Monica Boulevard. I'll have a link up on my website soon to get your reservation in. It is absolutely free, so if you want to see it for free at the Comedy Central stage, which is very exciting, July 9th. So book your tickets and fly to LA and come see me, and then let's do a meetup afterwards. Huh? Who's with me? No one? Great. Good. I'm in San Francisco this weekend. Tonight, Thursday, June 13th, June 13th, Thursday the 13th. That's a mouthful. I am headlining Cobb's Comedy Club. So take that, Golden State Warriors. We'll see who has the bigger fan base. Steph Curry, I'm coming for you. You guys come to the show. We can just go celebrate the hopefully Warriors victory afterwards, all together somewhere in the streets of beautiful San Francisco. And Friday, Saturday, I'm featuring for Michael Ian Black. 2 shows both nights. So come, laugh. I want to go have yummy San Francisco food and be fancy in San Francisco. Other than that, keep up to date on my shows on my calendar. Follow my social media at JMS Comedy. I post my shows there. And check out my new show from Dumbwits, the new comedy umbrella, what is it called? Subsidiary under the Hutton Media umbrella that I'm launching with my good friend buddy Hutton. It's a little passion project, twitch.tv/dumbwits, DUMBWITS, which is probably right up your alley if you're a listener to this. We build a sketch using suggestions from the audience. One of my patrons, tuned in for the tech run, and he was very helpful. Shout out to Eric. Thank you for that. You guys can all be a part of our sketch building process. Every Wednesday, it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific. We build the sketch using your suggestions. We write it, we shoot it, and we put it out all within 5 hours. So you can pop in and out for that. You can spend the whole night with us. Your choice. But let's get to this week's episode. It is a doozy. I had my friend Kristen Nicole on. She is an incredible hairdresser in Reno, Nevada. We don't talk about hair, though. We might have talked about it like a tiny bit because, she's just so fucking good at it. But we talk about pregnancy in your 40s because Kristen is 43 and pregnant with her second child. Her first girl is now 12 years old, almost 13. And it's a good episode. We have some laughs. We do have some cries. There's been some losses along the way. We talk about that. We go into, she was, I'm very grateful at how open she was talking about what it feels like to, have a miscarriage, all the emotions, the sadness, but also the anger, the regret, the sort of misfiring of anger at other people, the blaming, things that kind of get swept under the rug and, Nobody really talks to the women who go through it about it. They just go, "I'm so sorry for your loss." And much like postpartum, a lot of times women just sort of tuck that under. And we dive in and we talk about her plan now that she's fully pregnant and roaring along with this new baby girl. So, no further ado, you guys. Here we go. Kristen, Nicole, Mom Life. You guys, I'm here with my lovely friend Kristen. I guess I could just use your full name, Kristen Buchanan. Asbel Buchanan. How do I say the full
Kristen
thing?
Nicole is probably better. Buchanan I stole from my second husband. I
Okay.
really keep it because I know I'm going to change it one more time. And, at the time I had Declan and I wanted to keep it.
Okay.
Her, and now it's just such a huge pain that I really just pretend it's not a thing and I just go.
You just go Kristen Nicole. First of all, amazing hairdresser, which is not what we're going to be talking about, but a wizard if you're in Reno and you, or if you're able to fly to Reno, for fuck's sake. She's the best person who does hair in the whole world. But let's go. Let's go back to, you just mentioned Declan, and your second husband.
Yeah.
So Declan is your daughter.
them.
You collect them.
Husbands.
I love you.
Yes.
Just like the beautiful artwork in your
I
home.
used to. Thank you.
How old's Declan?
Declan will be 13 at the end of October.
So you have an almost teenager from your last marriage.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
It's real good.
Okay.
She's my favorite human.
She's awesome.
Yeah. I got lucky.
Yeah, no, you really did, because people don't always have cool and smart and good kids.
It's true, and I feel like too. I knew when I was pregnant with her, just gonna dive right in.
Get in
when
there.
I was pregnant with her, I knew I would do it by myself.
You knew you guys were together, but that you're like, this is
We
gonna
were
be
together. We got married when she was 3 months old or so.
Okay.
Really, mostly because he had gotten a job with benefits. It made sense at the time. Being a hairstylist, you don't get benefits.
Yeah, you have a baby. You have to.
It made sense.
Yeah.
And we were like, my mom was like, "Well, aren't you guys gonna get married anyways?" And we were like, "Yeah, let's just
Yeah, of
fast track that
course.
bitch, right?"
Yeah.
So we got married, and it was, so we split when she was 2.5.
Okay, so it lasted a little while.
He's got some mental health issues and,
Okay.
And problems with drugs and alcohol, so he's not even actually a part of her life much,
Oh,
unfortunately.
that's a bummer. Well, it's also, that speaks volumes to how great you are, because, I mean, not to like run through stereotypes, but like a lot of times kids from like, divorced single parent homes and whatever sometimes have behavioral issues, et cetera, and she seems so put together.
Like I say, I feel like I really got lucky. I mean, she and I are such a unit and always have been. Like,
Yeah.
to be, to give him a little bit of props. When she was born, he worked like 100 hours a week so I could stay home with her. So I feel like consequently we're very, very close.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back to work until she was 2.
Wow.
So I was able to stay home that whole time.
You
so
just got
for
to
that,
be
I
with
will
her.
Always give him credit.
That's good.
It's like the only credit I can give him.
But I will give it to him.
I will give that to him. But I feel like that is a part of the reason that we're as close as we are. And
Yeah.
she and I are just very connected. So
That's like a crucial.
that is I was actually really terrified to ever have another kid because how do you mess with perfection? Like I'm not equipped for a screaming.
Yeah, you're like lightning's not going to strike twice.
My niece was one of those colicky kids who screamed for 3 and 4 hours.
God.
And Declan was my pregnancy was a piece of cake. It was beautiful and I was glowing and I never got sick and it was fabulous and I couldn't wait to see her. And, it's not always like that.
How's it been? Okay, so fast forward to almost 13 years later.
Yeah.
Here we are on second pregnancy?
Fourth pregnancy.
Fourth pregnancy, okay.
Second child.
Okay, so you and Mark, your boyfriend.
Our boyfriend, 5 years this year.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, healthiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Next to Declan.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So you guys, a couple years ago you tried, right?
In the beginning of our relationship, we both said, fuck babies.
Yeah.
They're kind of assholes.
And then you're like in love with someone, you're like, I want your seed.
Kind of. Yeah, and that's exactly how he'll tell
You're
it.
like, I want us to make a thing together with our love.
We were always like, babies are stupid. Neither one of us wanted kids. He doesn't have any.
Yeah.
And has never wanted any.
It's never been
And
a drive in him.
Yeah, never.
And you were like, no, I got one, I'm done.
Pretty much. And like I said, she was so perfect and easy and she ate well, she slept well. My pregnancy was a piece of cake. Like everything was really easy with her. So I was always kind of afraid.
Yeah.
And then the older and older she got, the older and older I got.
Yeah.
And so that became a thing too. And so I just really was stoked to find a partner. And then a couple of years ago, we were at Christmas at my mom's, and I don't know what happened. I got all gushy gooey, and I was like, "Do you think we should make a baby?"
Like I had a little too much Christmas wine.
Something, right?
And you're like, I
like,
love you.
"Do you think we should make a baby?" And he looked at me, and instead of being like, and this is so Mark, really, instead of looking at me like, "What, you crazy bitch?" or, do you know what I mean? Where's this coming
You're
from?
like, what?
He literally just looked at me and was like, "Well, I would want it to be born in Costa Rica." I mean, that's where he's from. So,
Yeah. Yeah, just so everyone knows that's not like a random.
Yeah, but and of course, to which I responded, "Well, you clearly don't know how this works. You know, like I can't take 5 months off of work, and you can't fly after a certain whatever." So,
Yeah.
long story short, we did decide we're like, you know, if it happens, it happens.
So it was like at that point, like a soft try. Like we're gonna stop
was
trying
an
to
agreement.
avoid having a baby.
It was
Like you don't have to pull out.
as in let's pull out the IUD and like let's see.
Let's just
see
casually see what happens.
Yeah, but it doesn't stay casual. I mean, not.
Do you go from like, no, we gotta like how quick from like maybe we should try? How quickly did it turn to like, you gotta get me pregnant? Was it like it's time? I'm fertile. Load me up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you
Wow.
turn into like a total lunatic because you start thinking about it, and then you have to like, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But once you know that you want it to happen, and you're kind of trying
Yeah.
puts a whole different spin on it. All of a sudden, you're looking
fixated.
at ovulation calendars. And
Oh my
like you were
God.
talking about in the show the other night.
in my
like
bit.
You have friends, yeah.
that it's like
And that's so true. It's so true. And you become a lunatic person. At least I did, and a lot of other women that I've talked to.
Wow.
We absolutely got insane. And it was like, I'm ovulating in 5 minutes. Fuck me. Like,
Hurry
let's
up.
You know, in
The egg's
5,
dropping.
4, 3, 2. Yeah. I mean, like you really, and then I think for them, you know, the pressure, I think it honestly makes them all crawl back up.
that's
I
so
mean,
funny. You're like, if I wasn't trying to get pregnant, you'd be spraying everywhere.
Pretty much.
But the minute I'm like, we're on a deadline here.
Right. It really is awkward. As soon as you decide, I don't know, it infests your brain.
And you're like, baby.
And yeah, every time you do it, you're just like, I think, and I don't know, you'd have to ask Mark if he wants to come in later, but
We could.
I think it just gets, like I said, in your brain. Every time you have sex, you're like, this could be it. And so you're not even really, it's not like.
You're not enjoying the sex. You're like a mad scientist. Like, this could be
Kinda.
the baby.
Yes. And then you're like, okay, I'm ovulating for 3 days. Let's fuck 65 times in 3.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
God.
And
That's
he's just-
exciting, kind of.
It can be, unless you're a crazy person who wants to fuck a crazy person.
And you're like, arguably a lot of
right.
men.
I forgot who I was talking to.
Apparently every guy I've had sex with. So, wow. So how quickly after the Christmas conversation did you get pregnant the first time?
I don't know. I want to say maybe close to a year.
A year?
I feel like it took some time.
They say that that's a thing with birth control too.
I think there were probably a lot of factors with that. But we got pregnant. I peed on all the sticks. And that's the other thing too. You start.
If you guys,
It might be Declan.
should we pause?
We might be. She might. Yeah. I forgot where we were.
Oh
I was gonna start talking about peeing on things again.
yeah.
Okay.
But this time for a purpose.
So I had already been peeing on things, because you start peeing on things that tell you when you're ovulating. There's things when you're trying to try, they tell you that like your temperature is different at a certain time of the month.
And that's the time to.
Yeah, I never got that deep into it, but I started peeing on things, and I looked at Mark, and Mark was like, What are you peeing? What's happening?
Why are you peeing on sticks?
Why are you peeing on things?
Men
Yeah.
know nothing.
He just was like, I thought we were just gonna like let it happen if it's gonna
I
happen.
thought we were going to keep it casual. And you're like,
Yeah, but you become a really controlling psycho person. Like I became really
you're like, I am casual. You already have a closet full of baby clothes.
Totally. It was madness for sure. So I had already been peeing on things, and then I don't know. I peed on the stick, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're pregnant!" I was so excited.
Immediately
and
crying.
I told Mark, and I think he was probably like, "Holy fuck, what did I agree to?"
It's happening.
Kind of, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so. In a roundabout way, all these times later, because we were pregnant twice and lost 2.
Which is so hard.
It was fucking horrible. It was really awful, because emotionally speaking, you get into a place where you, especially like this time around, like I said, with Declan, I knew I would do this by myself, but Mark
Yeah.
is a partner, and
Yeah. And you two had gotten to a place where you're like, okay, we're going to have a baby.
Right? And the fact that he never wanted them and then was like, yeah, I'll make a baby with you.
I mean,
was
that's
feeling, like really special.
That's so special. No, because I feel like for me, I don't think I want babies, but if I ever am pregnant, it's because it was crazy over someone. It was like, yes, with you.
And I feel
that's
like
beautiful.
Mark is that way too. Like Mark doesn't do anything without thinking about it. Like if he makes a major decision, it's because like he doesn't do things because anybody tells him to.
He
Like,
doesn't
when I
do
was telling you
anything he
about
doesn't want to
Costa
do.
Rica the other day.
Yeah.
You know, the guy didn't speak to his mom for 15 years. We get down there and she's like, thank you for bringing my son. I'm like, I wish I could take the credit, but if Mark is here, it's because he wants to be.
Yeah.
You clearly don't know him. Like you can't talk him into shit.
Nobody tells him what to do.
So I felt really like super, you know. So long story short, I think I lost that one within a couple of weeks. Like maybe I found out and it was gone like 2, 3, 4 weeks later.
Had you guys told anybody yet?
We told fucking everyone.
Yeah.
We were so pumped. We called our parents. I think I even put it on Facebook or Instagram or
that's
both.
devastating.
And I actually think I didn't. It might even still be there. I don't think I ever took it down.
Yeah. And people are like, she's been pregnant for like 3 years.
Everybody's so excited. Yeah, she's been pregnant for like 2.5, 3 years. Right? It's going to be a really big baby. Fuck,
and then everyone's so excited and they probably like keep asking you about it.
Yeah, it's really awful. And you're so hormonal. Like the hormone thing is really crazy. Like I will tell you, I was on birth control like a majority of my life because like you, I enjoy the sex.
Yeah, I should be on birth control, but
right? But there's a number of reasons not to be. But I had like the Norplant twice. I had an IUD a couple of times. I mean, like,
I had trouble with mine.
See, and I've heard that from a lot of girls.
Yeah, mine like that
problems.
fucked up my hormones.
Right?
Was the
Where
birth
you
control?
kind of feel like a crazy person.
Yeah.
Like I hate to use the term crazy so loosely.
But you guys know what we mean. Don't be crazy.
Anyone who's
crazy.
But yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, I literally with one of my birth controls, as a matter of fact, the second Norplant, I would have like an episode like once a month. I was in my 20s, and I remember I would call my dad and be like,
oh God,
and then the next day I would bleed because with those you don't like. For me, I didn't get a period for 18 months.
Whoa.
And then I would bleed for like a day, and then I would not.
So it was like right before the bleeding, you would go.
I guess
that's what I do with my period now.
No, it was like a weird like mental cycle, like or a hormone. I guess
hormonal,
it's hormonal, right? So at the end, it's really started to affect me. In the like first couple of years, it didn't, and I feel like that's kind of the thing with putting weird things in your body.
Yeah,
that you run those risks. But I remember being and feeling very crazy hormonal, and then once I realized that was probably part of why, I pulled it out, and within 24 hours, I felt like I was back to my normal.
Wow.
My normal crazy.
You're like, this
stuff.
is a crazy that I'm familiar with.
Yes.
This is my brain chemistry that is how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
Wow.
So having been on, I'm sorry, it's the ADD.
No, it's okay. We were talking about birth control, the
birth control,
baby you lost.
and the hormones. Okay,
yeah.
So the hormones, I feel like once I took out my IUD and Mark and I decided to try to get pregnant, I was really hyper aware of. And Mark too, he'd be like, maybe it's that time of the month. Like he could call it, even though I wasn't. Yeah, I think
like when you're ovulating or when your period's coming.
When my period was gonna come.
Which like,
and I feel like he said that when I had the IUD too. He's like, you don't notice.
It pisses me off that when men are right about that because you want to be like, true. It's not my period. It was.
My mother was like that as a child. She would say things like, "Are you gonna have your period?" And I was like, "No, you're just a bitch."
Yeah.
Like, stop fucking with me. And then she may or may not have been right. About
I know. Well, it's crazy to like, at any point in your life, do you realize like, oh, wait, no, I'm probably feeling this way because my period, or do we all go crazy? And then we're like, sorry, I didn't realize it was my period, but now I know.
I think there was just so much denial from me. Like, I'm such a control person.
You want to feel like you have everything.
I guess. Yeah. I didn't ever want to admit that something might have some power.
Yeah. That you're like, it was a little more than just you. No, I wanted to stab you in the kitchen.
I mean, I meant to. I did that because you did whatever.
You were asking for it.
But the hormones when you're pregnant and the hormones when you're all of a sudden not pregnant. I mean, there's the emotional portion of just losing the child itself. But
then there's like a hormone dump probably. Or
the
drop.
First time, I think I was just really, really sad. The second time, I think I probably, and you'll ask me how far, I'm not sure how long after the first one.
That's
we got
okay.
pregnant, but the second one was horrible.
Yeah.
Because I'd already been through it once. And so I was at work on a Friday again with a client. And I went in the bathroom and I was like, fuck, here we go again.
You like
And
knew it was
it's
happening.
just devastating.
Oh, I mean, I
And
can't
couldn't
even
get past like 7 or 8 weeks.
Oh, that's hard.
And I knew it was happening, and I was like, well, fuck, I'm just going to finish my client. The first time I like left my client in the chair, had somebody else, shampoo her, rinse her, figure her out.
Yeah.
My clients are amazing, amazing people. So I was able to just leave and go to the emergency room.
And they trusted you and they were like, care about you.
The second time I was like, I already know what's happening. There's nothing anybody can do. So you've kind of like,
so you're
I
like,
hate to say you get used to it.
But you're like, I'm not, I know
what's happening.
So let me at least just finish this hair.
I just did her hair and then I came home and that was it.
And then you're like, I'm having a miscarriage.
Yeah. And then I was, and every time it seems like this happens, Mark has a friend in town. And then I'm like really angry and I'm really sad. And then the hormones kick in and I'm even angrier.
Yeah.
And even sadder.
On top of just what your emotions
Mark
would
is
be.
a very typical guy and he's not, I wouldn't say he's good at being emotional.
He's not like emotionally intelligent.
No.
Most men aren't.
No. And if he were sitting here, he would agree with that.
That's good. At least he would be like,
he's
hey.
not dumb, you know what I mean? But he's
like, I know my
emotionally-
limits.
Yes. So unfortunately, like I said, he had a friend in town. Really, actually, the second time around, if there was anybody you want in town, it's that guy.
Oh,
he was the coolest guy. It turned out it was his birthday. So it was a birthday.
Will keep going.
I mean, there was one point. Okay, so the guy was here and we were losing it and it was fine. And I want to say this was the second one. There was one time, I mean, Mark, like I said, had friends in town.
Yeah.
And this guy left. And then I want to say shortly after that, like within a week, some other people came from, like they were moving from Seattle to wherever else.
So they're like, let's
and
stop
Reno
by.
Was like
and
the halfway. So they stopped by with their 2-year-old.
Oh, devastating.
And I came home from work and there was a 2-year-old and some dude in my living room. And I'm like, wow, that's painful. And I could have handled that. But then his like 8-month pregnant girlfriend came out of my fucking back room.
Did you just lose it?
I just lost my shit. And I try to be a really good hostess. I love people.
You're an amazing hostess. I've stayed with you from like the early touring days. You are so considerate and like above and beyond amazing.
Mark was really just straight fucking ignorant, honestly.
He like didn't even.
And we had it out real good. I was like, have you lost your mind? Like, you've got to be the stupidest motherfucker I've ever, like I was, and you're hormonal and you're crazy and you're already looking for someone to blame. And then to have, and you want to be kind and you want to be nice, but
it's devastating.
Hormones, I mean, not only, so they left, it was fine the next day. They didn't leave that night like I would have preferred because they were kind of not those people who pick up on things like that. Like, and I remember actually coming out and saying, listen, I'm not rude and I'm not unkind. I just need you guys to know where I'm at. Not that it's your business, but like I just lost a baby like a week ago.
This is extremely hard for me.
This is really difficult for me. And at that point, I, as a guest, probably would have said,
I feel like I would have been like, let's go.
Oh
my God. I would have been like, oh my God, I didn't know.
I don't think they left until like noon the next day.
That's horrible. Can I just tell you, my mom had like 5 miscarriages before she had either of her kids. So she told me that there was one miscarriage she had and it happened around Thanksgiving. And then she went to her in-laws, my dad's parents, for Christmas, and they gave her baby clothes. Like she unwrapped things for a baby.
You just like are beside yourself with like how fucking ignorant and insensitive people can be, and you're really sensitive. Like your ex, like I don't know. When I was pregnant with Declan, let's be clear, I worked in a psych hospital. Yeah. Okay?
So you're like, I'm got it together.
No, dude, I worked in a psych hospital and we would be in the day room watching TV and I straight cried at Deal or No Deal. Like people would win and I would just be bawling.
Like, I'm so happy for them.
To lose a child, I mean, it was just a really difficult time. And then consequently after that, for like a good month or so, maybe even 2, we would be out and I would see like, okay, I have another ex-husband number 1. And during this time, I see that he's like, why does this motherfucker get to have kids? You are furious at anyone walking down the street who is pregnant.
Who has it like, how dare you? Why don't I? It's like,
yes.
You're like, you feel like it's a personal attack. Like you're rubbing your fertility in my face.
How dare you be pregnant walking across the street like that? Rude.
Wow.
So rude. And like my first husband, I'm like, why does he get to?
Oh my
he
God.
sucks.
He was having a baby?
He's had 2 in the last, and I'm like, you can't even take care of the 2 you had when we were together, you
piece of crap.
Yeah, I do. But he got 2. And, I mean, to be fair, like, we're friendly enough. He texts me on my birthday every now and then. Happy birthday, Satan. That kind of thing. Like,
it's good to have, like,
We're Facebook friends. It's fine,
It's good to have, decorum.
I try, but the decorum goes out the window. Like,
you're shattered.
You are very, very shattered. And then you're like, do you try? Do you keep, like, when do you, like you said, your mom had 5. I can't.
My mom's reckless. Not only that, my mom had to go to sperm banks because my dad was shooting blanks. So they just fucking blew so much money.
Right.
I was always like, you don't think maybe at some point you should have been like, maybe the universe doesn't want us to have kids.
I mean, right?
Right. But because I'm like 7, it took you 7 or whatever, but that's my logic.
But look, it was so worth it.
Here we are. Well, no, but those thoughts do, I imagine, go through your head. Like, stop me if I'm wrong or like whatever. But like, is the universe saying maybe this isn't for us?
Well,
or
that was the thing,
am I too old? Because you hear that about, women in their 40s. That's the big, oh, you better hurry up. And even though I read this article maybe earlier this week that like the 40 thing is bullshit. But
it depends. I know Janet Jackson was 50, but Janet Jackson also has a lot more effing money than I do.
Yeah, access to the best, whatever type of prenatal
Kim
care.
Kardashian is smart enough to have surrogates.
I mean,
I just said she was smart. I said smart enough. I didn't bring up a Kardashian.
That's probably the smartest thing she's ever done.
Probably. So I don't know. It's brutal. I think too. After that, you're just like, and Mark would say, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to. And I was
hard.
like, yes, you do. You don't know what you know what I mean? You get it in your head and you're like, I want this.
You're like, it's all I want.
Kind of.
Baby.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, when anyone I think is dead set on something in general, like if you really want something and if you're the kind of person who gets things done, you put your mind to it, you're like, no, I'm going to do it. And you're like a go-getter. But on top of that, the biology of what we are physically built to do. We're like, even if you don't want a baby, you're fighting your body a little.
Mark is such a good human. Like, he's a really good person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes a really amazing person to step in and help out with someone else's kid.
Angels.
I mean, don't get me wrong. My daughter's 12 and she gives him a run for her money, for his money.
Yeah.
Which I'm so proud of.
You're like,
to
good.
be honest with you. I'm like, keep him on his toes, Declan.
That's right.
She's incredible, but I think he lucked out with her too, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I looked at him and I was like, he would be such a great dad. Like, I know he would. And I sat there and I was like, as a unit, Declan, Mark, and myself would create such a great human. And there are people out there not creating great humans.
Yeah, you're like, maybe
there
we
are so many
should want to
pieces of crap that
counteract.
are out there procreating, and I'm like,
yeah, those people never have miscarriages. By the
I mean,
way.
it's right. They've got like 6 or 7 kids that are like, I mean, there's just so many bad situations, and
you're like, I can make a good.
We
can make a good life,
a good human. Like, we could make a good
like,
person. My
person.
parents were always like, we need you to be somebody who's going to contribute to society, and I never really kind of figured out what that was. And I'm not saying my procreation is my contribution to society. I hope.
Well, let's not throw your hair to the wind. Right. You're doing a lot for the way society looks, and it's important
for their hair, anyways.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I really had it in my head that I wanted. I mean, kids are really freaking magical. I mean, at least they were for me. She is. Declan is for me. But I know that there are people like you, like Declan even says she doesn't want kids, and
yeah,
that's fine. I know there are people who don't, and I don't think you should ever try to talk those people into it.
No, I don't think it should be something you're on the fence about.
It doesn't.
You should want.
People do or people don't.
Yeah, I think that like you should really want kids, and forever. I've been like, maybe one day when I decide I want children, I'll adopt. And then I think as far as having a kid, it would take like a miraculous act of, I would have to be so in love with someone to be like, I will trust you to trust me and do that with you, which would be beautiful. But like, I'm so fucked up. That doesn't.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's
and
huge.
It doesn't pop into my mind. The way I have friends that are so excited for having kids and like they're amazing mothers. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have that. At least not right now. Why would I bring a kid when I'm like, I don't know. Like, you shouldn't bring a kid into the world if you're like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but I guess I'm pregnant. So roll the dice. I'm not rolling the dice. Yeah, on a life. Yeah. Get in here. It's me and you, baby.
Right?
Wow. So
I mean, the bond is really incredible. And I just really wanted Mark to be able to experience that. And he had not ever not wanted kids. He actually, you'll like this. Mark actually used to call them fuck trophies. You're welcome.
That's amazing.
So when his friends would have, but he was like, I would watch my friends have kids and it would be like, you can't take care of your own selves. Why would you do that? And he's like, I think that's the thing too, is like, we sit around and we're like, you want to have a kid at the right time. You want to be able to provide for it. You want to be able to give it, yada, yada, yada. And so, when I met Mark, he wasn't, he was making $400 a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, this isn't kid time.
Living in a house in Tahoe with like 5 people snow skating every day. You know what I mean? Like he had, getting on, hanging out on Tinder, trying to like, find a friend. Neither one of us ever expected this was going to happen. So fast forward 5 years later, he makes a lot more than $400 a week. Thank God. And, I just, so he had gotten on board with me. And then after the second one, I was literally so devastated and so fucked up and so emotional after that. He's like, I hate watching you go through this. Like,
he's like, it's
not
heartbreaking.
To mention you're mean.
Yeah, he's like, you're mean and then sad and it's hard because I want to hate you and I also want to hug you.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, with the second one, I did not post on Facebook that we were pregnant. I had posted on Facebook because of the nature of my job and the intimacy of my job. I mean, I'm a hairstylist. We're touching you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I am physically touching you and you're telling me a lot of things.
Yeah.
If we have it's a relationship.
Yeah.
So I have a very hard time keeping a straight face and keeping things to myself. I have zero poker face.
And people pick up on things.
I mean,
they see you all the time.
Pretty hard.
Yeah.
You know?
Very high vibes.
Rather than try to, I put on Facebook, I said, I think I said something like, I'd like to tell you all that we're expecting, but instead I get to tell you we had another miscarriage, and I just needed people to know where I was at, and it was interesting because I feel like I really get frustrated with social media. I think we were talking about this the other day.
Me too.
Like, I get really tired of empty relationships and friendships. Like, I don't want to know. I love that you come to town and that you check in a week.
Yeah.
Like, I have actual conversation with you. I don't talk to you most of the year.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to like support you through Facebook and
Same.
whatever. But I can always call you, and if you can and I can, we'll always have conversation.
Exactly. I'm actively trying to be better about that with people who I don't live near, because I get very. It's just a work focused thing, but
sure.
Because social media makes everything seem so vapid, and
it really does. And I just think things get so lost, and our connections are so. I don't know. Like, I've got friends that I've had for 30 years, and I'm like, I literally haven't spoken to you on the phone. And when was the last time you actually came to visit me? Like,
it's like you like my status.
I don't want Facebook friends.
Yeah.
I want,
No, like I don't want to know about your life.
But
through...
I feel like it was the only platform that I had to
like,
be
let me
able
just
to kind of let people know where I was at, so that when I went into work and I was kind of,
so you didn't have to keep repeating. And so they're not just like, well, why is she in a shitty mood?
And I was able to go to work, a week or two later. But I mean, I don't know. It's amazing. I mean, this last one was really a doozy. It really did a number on me. I actually had a friend, quote unquote. We were friends actually for about 10 years. And I was actually in the room when his kid was born.
Wow.
Which was a really cool experience.
That's crazy.
I remember I was like taking pictures, nudging, because nobody did that for me.
Wow.
So I was like nudging the nurse out of the way and taking pictures. And I remember showing my ex-husband and being like, dude, did my butthole get that big? It was really,
he's like, oh, it was way bigger.
It was really astounding.
Oh, whoa.
It's like a really,
there's a whole universe in there.
It was something else. It really was. But this, men are not all men, but clearly the ones I'm in contact with. The dude came over. Declan said, hey, so-and-so's coming up the driveway. And I was like, she's like, with balloons. And like you said, with your mom and the baby clothes. And this is probably 4 or 5 days after the fact. And like I said, I had posted something, and Declan said, he's coming up the road or coming up the driveway with balloons. And I said, well, tell him I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
And,
lock the doors, turn off the lights.
I came downstairs that night and there were fucking pink and blue balloons in my living room. I about threw up when I came downstairs.
What
I was just like,
fucking what?
And I don't think he's malicious. I think he's ignorant and
like, do you think that was his way of trying to be like, sorry?
They were left over from his kid's birthday party, and he was trying to let me know that they were thinking about me. But I was like, hey, Pro tip.
Like, maybe do a sympathy card.
Maybe a bottle of Jack and some black roses.
You're like, I can drink
definitely save the pink and blue balloons for when someone actually births a child.
Yeah, you're like, that's
like,
so devastating.
And you, like I said, you're so emotional anyways. And so I've got these pregnant people who just came to my house who are ignorant and wouldn't leave till the next morning.
Pink and blue balloons.
I've got pink and blue balloons. And like, it was rough, man. It was rough. So
did you take a break from trying for a while? Were you like, maybe let's?
Yeah. And Mark certainly did. And I think too that, like, you know, babies, the idea is that they're born out of love.
Yeah.
Right. That
and you don't want it to be
you have to go back to like the reason you agreed to start in the first place. Like, I fucking really dig you. And like, this has to be like this really
you want it to be
pure-
this beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, we all know it's science and biology, but at the end of the day,
I came from a turkey baster, but you want,
right?
The best kids come from
biology.
love.
I love when my friends are all, it's a child from God. And I'm like, you banged.
Yeah. It's like, you were probably like, oh my God, fill me up with cum.
I mean,
and you're like, it's a miracle.
So amazing. How did that? Okay. So, which is really funny because this time, okay, so that's really funny that you just said that, and I'll kind of come back to that in a second. But I had posted this thing on Facebook about how I was like, sad and whatever, and just so people would know where I was at. Mark ended up going to a few friends. He goes to this place, this guy's house to skate. Our friend built a skate park in his backyard.
Fucking dope.
Super fun. And
you have the coolest friends. What the fuck?
They're Mark's friends.
Ugh.
I actually have like 6. Remember, we covered that.
No, your friends are cooler. I maintain.
I mean, you're one. But so he mentioned to me that a couple girls had come up to him there. You know that I mean, it's a great community over there. Like people who just really support each other. Like, hey, cool trick, bro, or oh, we almost had that, or whatever. And it's like
I love
kids
that.
and chicks and dogs and barbecue and like it's just a very casual, really welcoming environment. So that's what Mark does is he goes, I clean, and he gets really active.
Yeah, that's how he handles his stress.
And literally I was like, you're not emotionally gonna say the things I need you to say, so please go skate,
get on your wheels and
then
roll
2
away
girls
for a while.
came up to him and were like, you know, I just want to say, like, I really respect that she put that out there on social media because I did not talk about it.
Yeah, a lot of people feel
really hard, like they hold it in.
Yeah, they feel like,
and it's a loss.
Yeah,
it's like a devastating.
You like literally lost something. It's a huge grievance.
And I'll tell you, for women, the minute for most women that I've spoken to, anyways, when you're pregnant, it's already a person and you've got a whole future planned out for it.
Yeah, like when you're trying to have a baby and you're pregnant, you're like, it's already
yeah.
I mean, the times that I've like jumped to where my life will go with a person I'm dating, I can't imagine what it would be like to be like, yeah, you're like, oh, maybe they'll be a doctor, or
I wonder a human growing inside.
I wonder
of
when
me.
they'll have a baby. And
it has a whole future. You've already like, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna.
This is the kind of outfits it's gonna wear.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a thing. So I was really pleasantly surprised to hear that women were able to approach Mark and to say, you know, I was really grateful that she said something, or it made me think of this, and that they were able to, you know,
have some sort of solace
like
in that,
kind of emotionally,
and
like,
communicate that to him too.
Yeah, that he was like for him that it's like it's okay to talk about. Because I think for him, he's like, I don't like. I mean,
it's a lot of men.
It doesn't happen for men. They don't know. I mean, everything happens for us. It's our bodies. We're the ones who go hormonally
they don't get
insane.
the hormone dump.
They don't get the stretch marks. They don't get the morning sickness. They don't get any of it.
No.
Until it kicks them.
They don't get the big old titties.
They don't get the hugest, these boobs, Jessica.
Dude, your tits are, I'm like, can I just get my tits pregnant?
Girl, we're at like 18 weeks and I look like Jenna Jameson's
I mean, honkers. I mean,
what they think.
Honk if you're pregnant.
Double D. Like
my
super
God.
double D.
They're going to get bigger.
I hope not.
I derailed from a very serious thing to talk about your boobs. I'm sorry.
Well, it's fine. We should probably lighten it up a little bit here and there.
No.
But so Mark went there, and then there were people who said things and stuff, and I thought that was cool. And then also on the tail end of that, Mark's cousin, who I had not met, Mark has a wonderful family, and his cousin, who he grew up with, Julie, contacted me. We were already Facebook friends.
Yeah.
She liked me because I gave him a haircut, and he started.
You're like, oh, you made him look like less of a
yes,
bum.
Exactly.
She's like, oh, this girl's good for him. Great.
Yeah. So she and I had become friends on Facebook, and she sent me a private message, and she said, you know, I went through something really similar, and she said, I saw this woman. She's kind of a cross between. God, I wish I knew how she said it. A cross between a witch in Harry Potter. That's kind of what she said. And she's like, I had a session with her and it was really helpful. She's like, I don't know if you're open to that kind of hippie shit, but if you are, I would love to get you a session with her.
Oh, amazing.
And I was just so
that's
so
nice of her. Even if you weren't into
would,
that, that's such a nice.
Yeah. You know, I really was like, well, fuck yeah, I'll take you up on that. You know, I'm not getting that emotional nonsense from Mark because he's skateboarding and not.
Yeah.
You know,
also, when you're that sad, it's like, yeah, I'll try anything.
Kind of. Yeah. Okay. And let's be clear. Like, we drove and Mark came with me. He has been as emotionally, you know, stunted as he is very supportive. He's never missed a doctor's appointment. He's never missed anything. He
checks the boxes.
He does.
He goes where he needs to go, even if he's not.
He drove from here to Oakland, which is about 3.5 hours. So we drove to Oakland and back for an 1.5-hour session in one day.
Wow.
And she did with the magnets and the things and like
whole
all
thing.
this Harry Potter fucking, you know, witchy shit. I don't know.
Is she just for people trying to have babies?
And I'm like,
I want to just meet her for life.
like you, I'll try anything. I'm like, if you think it's going to make me feel better.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll be like, oh, are you crystals? You think they're magic? That's ridiculous. But I will take one just in case. Can't hurt.
Chant away. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Do your
all
thing.
for it. Yeah. And so I had this session with this woman and I looked at Mark in the car on the way back and I was like, so she says we're cleared up and ready to go.
You're
I think
already
we should
like
probably have a conversation. Like, do you want to try again? She suggested that we had some blockages and that she had cleared them and kind of nonsense. And I was never really sure what to believe, but like you said, you know, I just kind of go with it. And
see what happens.
And then Mark said, yeah, you know, maybe third time's the charm. Like, let's try. Well, then 2 weeks later, he looks at me and he's like, you know, I've been thinking about it. And I think our life is really good. I think Declan is amazing and we have a great life. And I've been talking to my other cousin, who at this point should remain nameless because he was so not hopeful.
You're like trying
he's
to
like, you know, his kids are older. His kids are older and they're really looking forward to traveling the world. And, you know, like I said, Mark is from Costa Rica, so he's always represented a lot of adventure to me. And I'm very stable. I've had to have like this stable life for my daughter. Yeah. So as much as I really liked the adventure side of things, I prefer stability. But
I like my house. I like my routine.
Yeah, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So I've been making a lot more than $400 a week for a lot longer than you.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing that kind of thing.
You're like, and I like that.
And so he's like, well, you know, I think our life is good and I don't think we should try again. And I was like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about.
You're like, okay,
again, kind of like when I asked him if he wanted to have kids.
You're like, okay, well.
So it took me some time, but probably, God, in the next 6 months to a year, I honestly came all the way around to that. Where I said to myself, okay, you know what? He might be right. Like, Declan's going to be 13.
Go. Yeah.
Like, do I really want to start over with a freaking car seat and a diaper bag when she gets out of high school?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what we're going to be doing. But, you know, and I literally started thinking like, oh, you know, we're going to move to Costa Rica in a few years and we could just travel. And I have this like imaginary, you know, again, a whole life planned out.
You're like the island.
And Declan's like at Yale. Doing whatever, becoming, you know, or going somewhere to become an anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
You're like just traveling the world in a sailboat or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
And you're like, okay.
And swimming with the dolphins. And
just being free.
Magical, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, okay. And I literally, and like to come that way emotionally was really big. Like wanting something so bad and then being willing and peaceful about kind of closing
letting
the door
go of
on
that.
it, like to really be peaceful about it. And this is fucked up.
Huge.
It's enormous. So I called my doctor in December and I said I would like to put my IUD back in. Like let's plug
this
it
past
up.
December.
Correct.
Okay.
And they said we can't get you in until March.
You're like, okay.
My birthday is March 3rd. And for about a week before that, I've been like, something's up.
Something is not right.
Something is amiss or extra, however you want to say it. And so March 4th, I went to work. It was a Monday, sunny Monday in Reno. And I went to work and I called Mark on the way home and I said, I'm going to stop at the store real quick on the way home. I'll be home in a few minutes. And I grabbed a box of 3 tests.
You're like, I'm pissing on all 3 of these sticks.
I peed on all 3 of them and it wasn't even like 2 minutes. It was like each one.
Instant.
Boom, boom. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, so my appointment was March the 6th. So I found out 2 days before I was supposed to put my IUD back in that we were pregnant.
Holy, like literally holy shit.
That's pretty cool.
This is not important at all, but let me ask you with the peeing sticks. Did you do 3 different sessions or did you hold 3 pee sticks under you and pee on
Yeah,
them?
3 different sessions. And I was like, because I was like, are you sure?
You're like,
and
let me wait. Maybe it's a false.
And he was standing in here and I was standing right there, maybe 12 feet away. And I was like, excuse me, sir.
We have to have
come in here
a
for just a
conversation.
minute?
I need to speak with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude. I said, and so I keep
What
thinking.
a surprise.
Yeah.
And he's like,
so,
I didn't forget her birthday. What is she going to yell at me about?
Exactly. And so then you're scared all over again.
Because you're like, is this just going to be
Okay, so let's be
number
clear.
3?
I found out, I think when you're in your 40s, you're really in touch
tune?
and in tune with your body.
Like you can just feel.
Like, Jessica, I probably found out immediately.
Wow.
Like, I must have, like, conceived the night before. I mean,
it's like you felt the egg.
I had felt it
get
for
fertilized.
about a week. And so, which was what prompted me to pee on the stick anyways, or the 3 sticks.
Because you kept being like, oh, it's just a weird feeling. Maybe it'll go away.
And I was pretty sure. And
Maybe
so,
it's gas.
But then how many times did I pee on sticks and it was negative? And that's a heartbreaking moment too for a lot of girls who are out there trying. It's like, how many times are you like, oh, I'm 2 days late, and you're so hopeful.
And you're like, this is it.
It's such a letdown.
Oh,
and this time I wasn't.
Heartbreaking.
I wasn't really invested either way. Like I said, I had become very peaceful about a lot of it.
It's almost like you let go of the wanting. And then,
yes.
So it's what they say about finding love too. Is like once you let go.
Amen to that. I'm not even kidding you. Like I was not expecting Mark to be my person, but he's totally my person.
That's great.
But thanks.
I let go, so I've totally let go of. No, I have.
Right.
But I'm an idiot.
Just putting it out there. I totally let go.
Are you listening, universe? I have completely let go. So
Excuse me, sir. So then I had my appointment on the 6th. So I went in and I was so excited to tell my doctor. I'm like, well, shit, we're pregnant. Change of plans. And so she did my exam and had me come back the next day for an ultrasound. At the ultrasound, nothing. We saw nothing. So I'm thinking,
oh no,
here we go again. Right?
Oh
And
my
like, how many
God.
times can you go in and have an ultrasound and be told that there's no sac, no fetal pole, no baby, it's gone. That's a horrible moment.
Jesus.
So the ultrasound lady says, I think I see what might be the start of a gestational sac. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. So I go home and I'm like, fucking really?
I can't handle this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so we went back 2 weeks later and boom, baby.
Boom. Heartbeat. Or I don't know how it works.
Not yet.
I don't know how it works. I clearly have never had a baby.
I don't know.
A thing that's a baby on the way.
A thing, yeah.
A sack.
I got a picture and the thing, and we brought it home, and then we called the parents. I told a couple of people, just because I'm that way. I cannot keep a fucking secret for shit.
Did you tell them to not tell anyone?
Yeah.
Every person where you're like, I'm only telling you.
Yeah, and then they're like, I'm only telling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what? And then I sat there and I really had to. Once it all kind of started to become real, I really had to wrap my head around, like, I wanted this.
You're like, I let go of this.
And that was really hard to come back around from.
Wow, that you're like, I decided that I didn't want this, and now it's happening.
Yes. And Mark and I probably fight like once a year because we have to not be those weird people who like never fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we do, I feel like we really cover some ground.
Yeah. I love that.
You know what I mean? We really cover some ground. And the older I get, the more I want to make sure that I'm not making mistakes that are going to damage, my daughter or my situation or,
Just life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it took me a little while. And then this pregnancy has been like really rough. I mean, I'll say being 43 and having a baby versus being 40 and having the idea of having a baby
is...
I don't know. I mean, I was really
worlds
convinced.
apart.
It's a girl, by the way.
Yay!
And I was convinced that it had a wiener because this pregnancy, like I said, with Declan, I was glowing and it was fabulous. Yeah. And there was sunshine and rainbows flying out of it. Like, it was fucking magical.
Yeah, and this one...
Right? And this one, I have been sick 22 out of 24 hours a day for the first 3.5 months, not to mention a hormonal, absolute lunatic, crazy person.
Oh, God. Just like screaming, crying.
I looked at Mark and I was like, I might not have clients when this is over.
You're like, I might drive everyone away.
I really.
Oh, God.
I mean, I had to call a friend thank God she's my friend. I had to call her. I had gone on and on and on about how upset I was with her sister at her hair appointment.
You're like, I am so sorry.
Yeah, I did. I called her like a week later and I was like, dude, I owe you an apology. Like, time and a place. My bad.
Like, whoops-a-daisy.
It really has been rough. And I feel like, too, that I'm kind of always waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm kind of always waiting for something bad to happen. And
yeah. Was there, when you got past the like 7 or 8 weeks, was there any type of like, all right, we're still here, like we're still going, a little bit of ray of sunshine?
Time we did progesterone, which is like a hormone that you're supposed to produce naturally or something.
Oh, okay.
It's a
I've read it on
thing.
stuff. Yeah.
And I don't really know much about it, to be honest with you. I didn't even
But they have like supplements to help.
I'll tell you, I had a harder time getting attached to this baby and to this pregnancy.
Wow.
And feeling connected, like with Declan. Like I said, immediately I was like, oh, there's a boy, like my husband. I was like, oh, you're here. Like, it was me and her from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, I was so connected with her. There was never a question that something would go wrong or that she wouldn't come or any of that. And with this one, I've had a harder time letting myself get attached because I've lost him twice.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to tell everybody, you don't want to buy anything baby until you're like...
You don't want to, project the whole story of this person's life in your mind. You want to just,
you just kind
tread
of
extremely lightly.
And then I really have just felt like a host.
Oh.
I mean, I've just felt like a host.
I'm just here for you to grow.
Yeah, like a parasitic fucking bee. I literally was like, it has a wiener. It has to.
It has to. There's only that. A woman would never make me feel this bad.
Exactly. So we did a big panel of genetic testing
to make sure it's all
11, 12 weeks. 11 weeks we heard the heartbeat. That was really exciting.
Wow.
But it's like, for as detached as we both were, and I think as different as this is for men, like every time I pee on a stick and it's positive, you should see Mark's face. When there's a heartbeat and he can hear it, you should see his face.
Yeah, I think men don't expect to feel as whereas women, it's like, I assume that like if I want to have a baby and then I get pregnant, I'm going to be overcome with joy. But then again, like you said, I get overcome with joy watching, soldiers come home to their dogs on YouTube.
Like just streaming tears. Yes.
But I think men like sort of fancy themselves as these emotionless creatures, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, like there's so much feelings, like the amount of love that the idea of a child can put in someone.
Yeah, I mean, and I still think Mark is going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Even we're more. Still at the point where like I've just barely started to feel her move, but no one else can yet. So in the next 6,
so when the kicks come,
when that starts to happen, when he's laying next to me. And I once worked with a guy who told me that his greatest regret was never laying in bed next to him and feeling his baby move inside of her. And that always stuck with me.
Wow.
His wife had 3 children that he helped raise,
but he never
had any of his own.
So he never had that. Oh, that's so, wow.
Kind of trippy, right?
Yeah. That's also just such a beautiful thing.
Well, he was a lot more emotionally grown than, say,
most
I've been involved
with. We're gonna name any names. We've already named them. Wow. Do you feel obviously the pregnancy has been different. Do you worry about your energy level for this one versus?
Yeah, I took a nap today.
When you had one at like 30-ish?
Yes. But again, okay, so with Declan, I knew I would do it by myself, and I was this powerhouse of a human, and I built this business.
Like I can do anything.
I have to say, Reno's been like amazing to me.
Yeah.
I could not have get to where I'm at and raise my daughter the way that I do without the support of my clients, and I'm just very, very lucky.
Yeah.
I've had a
killing
village,
it.
like they say, like it takes a village. And we've had so many people who love us and care for us and support us. And while I'm working 12-hour days, I've had people help me out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can't do this alone, but I did it without a partner.
Yeah.
And
which is a big deal.
I have a partner. And so I feel like I can relax a little bit more because I don't have to be quite
You're not. Yeah, that gung-ho.
Like
you're not worried that you have a little less energy because you have someone supporting.
I mean, to be totally honest with you, like I have a therapist I've seen since I split with Declan's dad. Yeah. Just because I want to be able to be sure it's not me.
Yeah. And it's not.
It's totally not. But this time around, I mean, I've kind of had him on speed dial, and I've seen him maybe like, I don't know, once in the last 2 years. Like every time I think I have a really good idea, I like to check in with someone.
You're like, listen, is this mania? Is this?
I mean, I think I should,
That's a good idea.
And so I called him and I said, I think I need to learn how to be a partner.
Wow, you're blowing my mind. And I haven't found a new therapist, so I can't afford to have my mind blown yet. I haven't found someone. Wow, that's huge.
I mean, like, I really think like I had to do everything with Declan by myself.
You get used to,
and you really do. You get used to being in control, and this is the way things are done, and this is how. And I'm like,
and it's like, oh, you don't fit the way I'm doing things. Move along.
Bye. It's fine. We don't need you.
No, I'm like, oh, I think that's how I am.
I really think that Mark will be incredible with this, and I think that I'm gonna need to learn how to step down a little.
How to like let go of control, like let someone else trust that other people can do it, and that you don't have to.
Yes, let him learn and enjoy it like I did.
Like you did.
I didn't know everything. I just thought I did.
Yeah, which is a beautiful gift in itself, really. Thinking you know everything can get you through a lot.
It's really true. You fake it till you make it. Do you want to?
Yeah. All right, let me just ask a couple, not even like, I guess, stereotypical questions, or did anyone in your life, or even like the doctors, did anyone give you any like weird grief about, oh, you're not worried because you're over 40, or like, did you get any of that? I hear people having that happen, but I don't know.
No, because I think like you said earlier, women who are 40, it's like so much, it's more and more common.
People get it now. They're like, that's not a thing.
Well, people are living so much longer now too. Yeah. So you're like, fuck, I'm gonna live my life before I pop these things out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So no, I don't think so.
No. And then this is not unrelated, but like, okay, so you guys will see Kristen when I post a picture, but you're like fucking hot chick covered in tattoos. Has anyone ever like been rude about or made suggestions about your mothering abilities based on your appearance?
My dad.
But
it's been some years. I mean, when I was pregnant with Declan, my dad asked me things like, what are you going to do if it wants a tattoo? And I was like, educated about hepatitis and HIV.
Yeah, so
like
it does the right thing.
Like, if his child is anything like me, it's going to do whatever it wants anyways.
Yeah.
So my job as a parent would then be to make sure it doesn't end up in a garage getting tattooed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like get go somewhere proper. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I think we can do is educate our kids, and I think generationally, I would think the older generation, but I think the world is changing so much.
Yeah, it's so not a thing.
It's so common.
That's why I wondered. And also Reno seems relatively progressive about stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as no one's put off by, no one's like, I mean, almost anywhere you go, no one's like put off by tattoos.
It's mostly my family. I mean, like when Declan, for instance, when Declan was in kindergarten, she got, like straight S's. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
She was like this amazing student. And I asked her what she wanted. And at the time I was working at a really big salon with 35 people and whatever. And things were really trendy. So she wanted to shave like a quarter of her head.
Oh, like the side shave or something?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I remember that.
She wanted to do that and have pink leopard. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
My dad straight unfriended me on Facebook and didn't speak to me for a year.
Because you let your daughter have fun hair.
And I said to myself, listen.
People are so old.
This is the kind of parent that I am. And maybe it has nothing or everything to do with the fact that I'm just a really open-minded person who happens to have tattoos. I think people with tattoos are a little more open-minded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Although these days I kind of question. I mean, when I was getting tattooed and when I was younger, it was more of a lifestyle and not a trend.
Yeah, and now it's just like, I just felt like getting one.
Sometimes I feel like you're welcome.
Yeah.
Because we put up with all the shit from everybody.
You're the suffragettes of tattoos.
My parents were like, the people with tattoos are the dregs of society. You get a piercing in your face, please don't serve me food in a restaurant. We'll go somewhere else. Like, that's how my parents, they're very, very conservative
And when I think the older we get, the older they get.
I'm telling you, it's really rough raising parents.
I mean.
And we're in a magical, fabulous, terrific place now. But it has really been hard on both of us. It's not without
because you're different,
from both of us. But to me, it was like, I felt like that was an opportunity for if you're going to look quote unquote different than the norm. And again, tattoos are kind of normal now, but at the time, if you're going to be different from normal and have crazy hair, you're going to get a lot of attention. Are you the kind of person who can deal with that?
Can you handle that?
Do you want that?
Yeah.
You have to learn that about yourself.
Well, no, because it's
like a teaching opportunity. Like, can you handle it? can you be responsible with it? Like I'm all Declan. When you're in class in kindergarten,
yeah,
and the kids are all, hey, your hair's cool. Like you need to say, hey, let's talk about this at recess.
Yeah.
Like I used it as a teaching opportunity. And I just think we come from such different ways of teaching.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, that's absolutely
I also feel like with the
perfect.
world progressing the way that it is, that like I said, I mean, my dad certainly doesn't like my tattoos, but he has said to me a couple of years ago, he said, well, I can understand 1 or 2. And I was like, oh, when did that happen?
And you're like, well, that's
when
nice.
I had 1 or 2, you didn't understand shit.
Yeah, that's
You know
so
what I'm saying?
funny.
And my daughter, interestingly enough, and I think all kids are different. I think it's really just how you raise them. Is she's not really interested in tattoos. Like,
well, for her, she's probably like, oh, what do I want to be like my mom?
Exactly. We should probably end with that because that's really true.
It's so no matter what, like what you do will always be corny in the eyes of your children.
Yes, I'm not cool, especially now that she's 13.
She's like, no,
she'll be
you're
13.
my mom. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
like
I'm so embarrassing.
She's just like wearing button ups.
I do it on purpose now, though. Like I fuck with her and her friends as much as I can.
I mean, when they're teenagers, why not?
I mean, you always.
She's gonna go crazy anyway. Like they're gonna have
the house where like the kids want to hang out, but not where they think they can get away with stuff.
Yeah,
like I want them to feel like they can talk to me about anything and be safe, and that was something I did not have growing up.
I think that's so important.
So for me, my biggest thing about parenting, and hopefully with this one too, I'm just terrified with this one, but the generational difference, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because the
it's
fact that like I had to work so hard to get to a point where I can tell my mom anything.
Yeah,
and I wanted my daughter to feel like she could talk to me about anything. But we worked for that.
Yeah.
And so I have always raised my daughter to the best of my ability to make sure that she knows she can tell me anything.
She can come to you with issues or like.
Exactly.
I
didn't have that. So I really wanted that for my daughter.
Yeah, I don't have that. I think that's why I don't want
and
a child.
This one, I've just been terrified because it's been such a different pregnancy that, I told Mark, I said, if this baby comes out anything like it has been in utero, I might shake your baby.
You'd have to hold me back.
I mean, he said, is it going to sleep with us? Before we knew she was a girl, he said, is it going to sleep with us? And I was like, no. I go, well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to get you a recliner and a
baby monitor or like a bottle. Yeah.
And I'm going to freezer full of boob milk, and you're going to go in the other room.
Yeah.
And you're going to it's like, I'm really excited to have a partner that
you're like, I'm going to, when it cries, you're going to get up and do something about it.
You're going to hold it.
I'm going to sleep a little more.
That's what I'm going to do.
Wow. That's beautiful.
So we'll keep you posted.
Yeah. Thank you for this.
Thank you.
And thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Pregnancy in your 40s with Kristen Nicole. I'm very thankful for her to her for being so open, and I hope you enjoyed that and learned a little. Maybe you found some catharsis or some sympathy for somebody you know who's gone through something similar. She definitely gave me a lot of things to think about that may not have crossed my mind in terms of, approaching friends who have gone through that and things they may be sensitive to that, you aren't thinking of. She's incredible. If you're in Reno, if you have the capacity to fly to Reno and you need a good hairdresser, she's the fucking shit. She has been a lifesaver to myself and multiple friends in terms of having great hair. So go check her out. Go check out her salon, The Parlor in Reno. Check out at The Parlor Reno, I believe, on Instagram for awesome pictures. If you like the podcast and you haven't subscribed, what in the fuck are you doing? Go subscribe. Rate. Review me on iTunes. Share with your friends because everyone's a little bit ignorant sometimes. Big thank you to John, Jean, Kathy, Terry, exclusive members of the League of Extraordinary Idiots on Patreon. You literally keep these episodes going. You keep me sane with our chats, and I'm so thankful for you, and I'm glad we're friends and have fun banter on Twitter and Instagram. It's by the way, like, I don't say this enough. It's so cool that this has afforded me the opportunity to just become friends with people from around the globe. And when you guys, it's great connecting with you online. When you come to the shows, I can't tell you how much it means to me. Please, if you ever come up to the show and you're thinking like you want to say hi or you want to be like, I listen to the podcast, don't hesitate. Even if it feels awkward. I know I'm giving off some weird energy right after I get off stage because I'm very chaotic and trying to say hi to everybody. And you have an adrenaline rush after you perform. So I am a little like, but I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you for subscribing to my bullshit. I love it. I love you guys. If you want to join the League of Extraordinary Idiots, be part of the monthly Google Hangs, get cool postcards from me on the road, more content, patreon.com/ignoranceisblessed. Follow at Blessed Podcast on Twitter or Ignorance is Blessed on Instagram if you want to put a face to the voices you're hearing on my podcast. The ones in your head, that's on you. Well, by all means, tag me in if you've found a face for some of the voices in your head. Please keep in mind that no guest is or claims to be a representative for every person who has a similar identity. They are just one person sharing their own experience and ideas to help get a peek at how things look from their situated position in the world. If you have additional questions about any guest or have a topic you'd like to hear covered, or someone specific to interview that would be good for that topic, tweet them at me, at JMSComedy, message me on my Facebook fan page. The best way to do it, join the Facebook group, private Facebook group, Ignorance is Blessed, Idiots. It's a safe space for your ignorant questions, your ignorant suggestions, your great suggestions of guests. And that's what we do there. It's a learning, open, let's get silly, let's get curious. I want curious cognitive thinking just going on in that group. So let's interact more. I'll try to be better at it as well. You can also send questions to ignoranceisblessedpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. And I'll do my best, always, to deliver what I can. Keep asking questions. The more we ask, the more we learn, the more we know. And the more we know, the more we can look down on others who aren't as smart as we are. And isn't that the point? Thank you for listening, and thank you for being patient with my ignorance. See you soon, idiots!